basic lesson planning is something that teacher aides, education support workers, integration aides, teachers, anyone that works with kids really, even childcare, should be able to do. It's really simple, yet we find that even in the Certificate 3, the Certificate 4 in education support, students really struggle with lesson planning, and it doesn't need to be difficult. It can be very simple. If you Google lesson planning, you come up with these horrific lesson plans that are pages and pages long and have sections like goals that outline 12 different things you're going to do in your 1 hour session. Forget about that stuff. Let's keep it simple, because that's what it is. You'll see a lot of people that once they've done lesson plans for years, and they'll plan out a whole week on 2 pages, a whole week. And sometimes people don't even write stuff down. They just know, today I'm going to go in and I'm going to do that particular chapter, ask some questions, have a discussion, there's my session done. And that's fine once you've got a bit more of experience. But for now, it's still good, even if you're teaching something or helping a group of students out in a topic that you're not really that familiar with. Even if you have a lot of experience with kids, you still need something of a basic lesson plan. They should only take you 3 minutes. Generally at the top you'll have details, so I would write, for example, Year 4, literacy, spelling words, Tuesday, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. Just to show, because you'll probably keep this in a folder. You might have a literacy folder and a numeracy folder, for example, so you can look at them and reuse them for students in the future instead of having to recreate the wheel every year. Goals, so or the aim, or even the title, you could call that whatever you want to call it, to help students become more familiar with the 5 spelling words for this week. Resources, so what stuff you really need, that's just a cue for yourself so that you know what to bring and you don't forget things. So you can just jot stuff down like, well, I need to make sure I've got the TV there because we're going to watch a little video. I need to make sure there's 3 basketballs. Oh, and I need the key to get the basketballs out of the storeroom, for example. And your outline. Now, this is the bit where everyone has lots of problems with. Remember that generally there is your intro, just like essays and things like that you would have done in the past, or any TV show you watch, your body, and your conclusion. Now, that's a structure you should do to every single lesson, and in fact, even if you're not running the lesson, you're just helping students for 10 minutes. Quick little intro, what are you going to really, what's the main chunk of what you're doing, and wrap it up at the end. A quick summary, a quick, well, this is what we learned today. Next time, you know, we can go on and learn this other cool stuff. This is how it applies in the real world, so on and so forth. What I like to do with all my lessons is scaffold, or chunk. Scaffolding is the word I use, and it generally just means that you're dividing your lesson up into usable chunk sizes. You know the research that you would have heard that says people can't concentrate for 20 minutes, people can't concentrate for more than 40 minutes, you know, those types of things. Dividing things into little chunks makes life so much easier. Sometimes if you've got a video for half an hour and a couple of worksheets, it may not apply, but generally 0 to 10, that's your intro, and that's where you go through stuff like your rules. So right, today this is what we're going to do, blah blah blah, a quick overview so that people know where they're going, and a link. And last lesson we did this lesson we're doing this. You can see how it sort of relates. And I'll just give it a couple of examples here. The first 10 minutes, that might take a little bit longer than I expect. You're going to play a game Hangman to review the word Jakarta, because let's say, I don't know, you're doing geography or something like that, the capital of Indonesia, and you play a quick little game with students just to get them, you know, just to develop a good environment and for them to enjoy the topic and to get them switched on. Maybe it's just after recess or something like that. Students read in pairs, they do that for 10 minutes, blah, 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 blah. Obviously down there you'd have a little conclusion and a pack-up. It's quite, I usually put this stuff on the board as well, so you can, even if it's just a little corner like that, for students, and they know exactly what they're doing. Lots of people that are, I suppose, structured enjoy working and knowing what they're doing next and what steps there are. And you could even, for students, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I want you to get done today. Once you've done that and you've done it properly and showed me, sort of follows that, you see, then you can go have a bit of free time on the computer. Okay. Or, you know, what other no-cost or low-cost reward there is. Basic lesson planning. In our courses we use a lot of more practical things which are easier to do planning for, to get people used to it. For example, cooking. If you were teaching how to make a sandwich in 1 hour for, say, Year 5 students, what would you do in that 1 hour period? Well, we'd probably show them how to use a knife and how to butter bread and those types of things. We'd probably spend 10 minutes showing them maybe a couple of different types of bread. We'll probably spend 10 minutes maybe cutting up some lettuce and some tomatoes and some things like that, and maybe 10 minutes figuring out and coming up with different ideas. Maybe we'll do a brainstorm. What order do we put all the different things in our sandwich in? Do we put the meat on the bottom, the cheese on the bottom? Who knows? What type of sauces we can use. And finally, at the end, we put it together and spend 10 minutes eating our sandwich. That's basically a simplistic way to do a lesson plan. It doesn't need to be tens of pages long. If you ever come across anyone that's using pages like that and they're not studying at uni, which usually they're forced to do things like that, you know, very complicated, difficult to follow, and not very user-friendly, I think. Basic lesson planning.